everyone, this is Tony from our Homestead Skills, and today I'm going to make some soft white bread again. It has been quite a while since I've made this. I have been purchasing bread from the Italian bakeries, and although we love that so much, Mark has found that he doesn't really like it as toasted. He doesn't like it toasted at all. So, I mean, yeah, we'll eat it, but he prefers regular soft white bread for making toast. So I'm going to have a batch of this on hand as well. Well, my recipe, it's going to make 3 loaves using the large loaf pans, which are not very large. So this is a double recipe, and then I split it into 3. Okay, so I'm going to start off with 1.5 cups of warm water. With that, 1 tablespoon of sugar. The sugar in the water a little bit, and so 1 tablespoon of yeast. Just let this sit on top for about 5 minutes, let it develop, and then we'll be back. Okay, I don't know if you can see this now, but it has gone all bubbly, which means that the yeast is active, it's good, and we should be able to make our bread. Let's see if I can do a close-up here. Maybe it's best if I take the camera down. There we go. You can see how bubbly that all is now. So yes, we've got an active yeast going there. Okay, at this point I'm going to add my butter. It's about half a stick, approximately 3 tablespoons. A little bit more, a little bit less, doesn't matter. I'm not one of these that has to have perfect measurements, but close. Well, it looks like I started off with a single loaf recipe. What I could do is just double the yeast and double the water, and I will do that. So my mistake. And I'm going to set this aside because I did make a mistake, and I'm going to add more sugar to this bowl and more yeast to this bowl, and then we will double it up and put it in the main bowl. Meanwhile, the main bowl can just sit aside. So here we go again. 1 tablespoon of sugar and 1 tablespoon of yeast. Now this would be, as I said, for a single loaf, but we are doubling the recipe, and I guess I just forgot to double this portion of it. I do have the double portion of flour mostly measured out, but we'll measure that again as we pour it in. So that yeast can sit there, it won't do any harm. You know, that yeast and butter can sit there. Butter is the right quantity, so now we'll just wait for this yeast to proof, and then we'll be right back. What happens when I haven't made this for a while? When I used to make it almost weekly, I didn't make these kind of mistakes, but it has been a few months actually since I've made bread. What with trips to Alabama, what with your mind being elsewhere, I have just been buying my bread recently, but I'm going to go back to baking it all. Once again, we know that we have active yeast, and we should have no trouble making bread. Now, the next step would be to add our flour, and I'm only going to add half of it. We want a total of 7 cups. And actually I'm going to add also a teaspoon of salt, and I'm going to do that now before I mix the flour in so that it does get dispersed properly. So about a teaspoon of salt. Okay, actually I like a little bit more. So we'll mix that in, and here we'll start with half the flour. So this is a half cup measurement. So I'm going to do 6 of these for 3 cups. Three. Okay, so this is obviously not all the flour we're going to put in, but it's just to start the mixture here. And I'm going to use my electric mixer. Okay, so while that's mixing, we're going to add the rest of the flour. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, this has kneaded very well. So I'm just going to take that out. The mixing bowl is the perfect size. I'm just going to leave it as is, cover it up, and allow it to rise for approximately 45 minutes to an hour, and then we'll get back to you. Okay, so it's been an hour, and as you can see, my bread dough has doubled. So now I'm just going to punch it out. I'll be pulling that out in a second, but before that, I want to get these pans ready. So I have 3 of my large cast iron pans. Okay, so I add a little bit of butter on this parchment paper, and I'm going to spread it on these large pans. So now that those are ready, I'm going to put them aside. And I'm going to split my dough into 3 parts. So here we are. Take it out of the bowl. Let me spread some flour on the table, and there we go. Now I want to get about 3 equal portions in size, so I am going to weigh them, and I want grams. Okay, so I've got it down to 0 with the dish. Start by cutting this into 3, and perhaps they'll be close, and if not, I will make adjustments. Okay. There we go. So, 626. 675, so this one's a little bit larger. And 632. So, just going to cut a chunk off this one. Try this now. 646. 659. 57. Okay, 647. 644. And 646, so that's about as close as I'm going to get. And I'm quite happy with that. So, now we just want to create some sort of a rectangle. You want it to be able to fit into one of these pans. Roll it up. Tuck the ends underneath. And there you go. That's one. See if we can get this again. Okay, there we go. So, roll it up. Make sure it fits in the pan. A little bit more flour again. A lot easier to do it the first time. Roll it up. And there we go. Tuck the ends underneath. And into the pan. So now we've got all 3 of them done. I'm going to cover them up again and wait for a second rise for about another hour. Meanwhile, I guess I can wipe down my table and do a little bit of a cleanup. Okay. Be back in about an hour or so. Okay, well you can see why I split this into 3 loaves now. Each one of them have risen quite a bit. So I've preheated my oven to 350 and it's going to go into the oven for about 40 to 45 minutes or until the loaf sounds hollow when it's tapped. So they look absolutely beautiful right now. Okay. Okay, so the bread is out of the oven. It is done, and I'm just going to lightly butter it now and just then let it cool. So, yeah, lots of butter with bread. And then we'll cool it down in order to get it sliced. So, that's it for now. Another 3 loaves of homemade bread. This is Tony from our Homestead Skills. And yes, even when you mess up originally, you can recover and produce a finished product. So, yes, this is awesome. I'm happy with this result. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.